Hello, everyone. Mike's MMA picks coming at you live right now to discuss UFC Vegas 81's main event of the evening, where we have a featherweight matchup between Sodiq Yusuff and Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza, the elder statesman of the division, he spent most of his career up at lightweight and for the past few years has competed down at featherweight. This is a fighter who is massive for the division. If you checked out his Instagram and seen the fighter check-ins, he's looking in shape, ready to go. Only a few months shy of his 38th birthday. Edson Barboza is going to be coming into this fight with a 23-11 overall record. He has a couple of inches in height and a few inches in reach, and he can be had as a plus 140 underdog. You watch Edson Barboza's career unfold, and he is a fighter who's resurrected like a phoenix numerous times after some brutal beatdowns. I'm just looking through some of the fights that I went back and watched, and it's incredible. The durability, just the ability to get back on the horse and even get back into the octagon again, taking on the likes of Michael Johnson, the Tony Ferguson fight. That was back in 2015. Look where Tony Ferguson is now. Man, he's had some wins, though, some big wins over Anthony Pettis. The Khabib Nurmagomedov loss, we saw him brutally beaten. Kevin Lee did a massive number on Edson Barboza. The Justin Gaethje fight, we saw him try to stay evasive and get taken out in that matchup. The Paul Felder fight, I believe he's taken on Felder twice. Both of those fights, iron sharpens iron. The Dan Ige fight, trading heavy punches, heavy strikes. Barboza stood in there, took it. The Chikadze fight, we saw the wheels start to fall off there late in the fight. Was getting battered and beaten. Bryce Mitchell fight, Bryce was able to drop Edson Barboza in that spot. And then the get right spot for Edson Barboza took place against Billy Quarantillo. Billy came out, started to push a pace on Edson Barboza, and that flying knee up of the middle, Barboza still has that fast twitch muscle fiber going for him. He's able to stay explosive. We've seen the Beneil Dariush fight, how Barboza took him out of there. So bottom line, long-winded, but Barboza is dangerous. That's what it comes down to. And he's going to be dangerous early, just like he is in many of his fights. Now, this is a 5-round main event, and he's taking on Sodiq Yusuff. Let's talk about the other side of fight here. Lloyd Irvin fighter, 30 years of age, has been out of action for a while now. The Don Shainis fight, you don't really draw too much from that other than we've heard of Sodiq Yusuff's grappling background. We haven't seen it in action that often. The man only has a 12% takedown accuracy for his UFC career, which doesn't bode well if you're trying to track down Edson Barboza, but this should be an interesting spot. 13-2 overall record for Sodiq Yusuff. He is going to be giving up some reach here. He's coming in as a significant favorite at minus 165. This line has fluctuated slightly. Barboza can be a bit of a trickster in there, going to be looking to land kicks, looking to stay explosive early, blast those leg kicks. Should be a fascinating scrap. The mileage on Edson Barboza needs to be mentioned. I opened my segment with that. The amount of damage this man has taken in his career, it's incredible. And 5 rounds, we're looking at 25 minutes here. There should be a lot of exchanges. We're in a smaller octagon. I don't think this fight is going to hit the scorecards. And Yusuff, I know you look back, the fight against Arnold Allen, he got caught a couple of times. He can get put on wobbly feet. But you watch the Mike Davis fight. That fight was 5 or so years ago. That was a while ago. You watched the Andre Fili fight. I don't draw too much from the Alex Caceres fight, but um, what I what I took away from that is that Yusuff is willing to stay in the pocket and exchange, and he's a heavy puncher, heavy kicker as well. So these two fighters are going to lay it out on the line, and I'm feeling that Yusuff is the side here. Let's see. We've got some comments here. Lou says, Mike, I feel this is a fight where questions will be answered. Yes, they most definitely will be answered, Lou. James says Barboza is such a tricky fighter to pick. Billy Q got run over. Actually, I don't agree with you there. I saw that fight. I watched that fight unfold, and Billy Q was starting to have some success early on the feed. You saw the plan for Billy Q was to push a pace, and Edson started, he was breathing heavily there, and he got bailed out by that knee up the middle. And Billy Quarantillo, he's a solid fighter, but Sodiq Yusuff has much better striking defense. And I think that that is going to come into play here. Also, the durability of Yusuff. He's only taken 2 losses in his career, 30 years of age. Let's see. Underdogs in main events of late have come through. You're right. They have lately. What do you think of time props here? Yeah, I believe that is a solid spot. I think that the fight doesn't go the distance is a solid spot as well. Brandon, great to see you checking in. How about the striking offense as well? Well, we know Barboza primarily makes his hay off of his kicking game, right? Yusuff, I believe, has the better hands here, but he also has to not sit back and admire his work. That's one of my concerns. He's going to have to move his head off the center line and be aware after he's done extending. He could be open for body kicks to land by Barboza, but this is I've looked at the cost benefit analysis here, and Barboza, as he's inching towards his 38th birthday, I have questions about his durability. I have questions about the weight cut. He looked huge coming into the media day interview and fighter check-ins, so he's going to have to lose all that water weight once again. I'm going to be picking Sodiq Yusuff. I got in on him at minus 160, and a few minutes ago just added another half unit at minus 165. So I'm going to be picking Sodiq Yusuff. I think that he does get this done inside the distance. He is tough as nails. Both of these fighters are tough as nails, but the longer this fight goes, I think we'll see Barboza start to huff and puff, and Sodiq Yusuff is going to blow his house down. The Sodiq Yusuff side, I watched back his fights, and I see a fighter who, now we must mention the injury factor also, that that Yusuff was on the shelf. I believe there was a back injury that kept him on the shelf for a while, and he tried to come back a little bit too early, and that put him on the shelf for a little bit longer. So that is a concern of mine. But then I keep going back to the Barboza Chikadze fight, how that third round, man, that third round, Barboza really fell off of a cliff. And I think that that's what's going to happen here. So I'm going to be picking Sodiq Yusuff to win and get this done in dramatic fashion. And another thing to pay attention to, listen to the sound and enjoy the sound of these strikes landing inside of the apex. It's going to be a beautiful display of violence on Saturday evening. So cheers to you. Enjoy the fights. Thank you for tuning in. We're getting this breakdown done in under 10 minutes. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel and liking the video, that'll be a big help for us. So thank you for everything, and I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, and go get what's yours.